Ma'otholobi 1838 Tassachat Imogida Kanvaski Inkabakahanat Sidin Patidam Ma'ofacha John Samon Abonaiji Sikutos Momen Ihewa Inharijiska Momen Inhobuiwa Mau Abonaiji Gorayedos Ma in Hobuiwa Mau Abonaiji Gorayedos Ma in son Hogibadit Ifik Nokki Thakimahidos Livingston Fatchen ma igano legat man Abugagit Thasa lechi chakahanat Abiyadis Momen Seminole Abalwa Imido Kalgida Madun After we make our way to Oklahoma's Indian Territory, John meets Kuwakuji. It means wildcat. At Deep Fork, where Chief Micanopy established a place for the Seminole families. Wildcat Kuwakuji is the son of Imatala. They know him as King Philip of the Seminoles.
In winter of that year, we arrived at Fort Gibson. We had one blanket, but no food or provisions. Families quickly set about finding a place to build shelters to survive the winter. We received word that my cousin David died fighting with other Greeks. He was fighting with them to protect their lands. I feared my brother Earl would come back to extreme danger. My husband Koshar survived the fight which had taken my cousin's life. In 1837, Koshar boarded a ship to travel west as a deportee. He and 23 men from his regiment who fought on behalf of the Americans against the Seminoles all died of sickness in July on the journey to Oklahoma. When Earl returned to the United States from England, he was placed in jail and died from sickness. I was then 34 years old.
Hugtali oi moment ingus of getaways. Ajajulga otolobi baliosten dragiben moment dovelop juguji leges. Hubwidagi jinabagan sejayans momes hubwidagi duchinan sakis moment manidats ani anejida. Wajinat bakata Hitchcock ani injugobit legends moment amphigida abohunks adigat atolabi jagiben heomats. Amphigida atolabi jaraganawa bali ostrabagani vagan wajinat hari iri thobo dogoros. Droga dutchki athlaquichida bohes iri bodi wedis ja mithlida hisakida Wajinat solidawan hisayijayans. Heomat inokitaways dying. Hithabgad ilathlis moment jatki moment mi jiska droolagi. Suran tabagathlis.
We moved place to place by boat in 1820 in Florida, the year that Little Ben disappeared. An Indian civil war had gone, but we still been at risk. I tried to find information about Ben, but there been so much conflicting story. I began living with a man named Joe McNeil, and we decide we must leave Florida, as we hear more Indian war been possible and more white been coming. Our freedom been uncertain. We set out for Andros Island in the Bahamas with my oldest son and daughter on a sloop called Friend, commanded by Captain Pierce. By 1835, we hear story of renewed Seminole and Creek War in Florida, and I glad to be one of a few women on Andros. I own my own property in my own name.
Captain Woodbine give all those remanded at the fort an option to travel by ship to a different British port where slavery is forbidden, or remain behind at the fort to wait for Nichols to return. Both Swan and I decided to leave, and we boarded a British vessel for the Bermuda guided by Captain White and set sail for Florida in early 1815. We arrived in Nassau Harbor in June to restock the ship. Gabriel Perpal was the owner of 18 male slaves, 11 female slaves, and 20 Negro slave children by 1814. When our family fled the plantation, we knew Mr. Perpal had many connections. Are we afraid he would receive information that our ship had been held for Bermuda with a slave who had been at the Prospect Bluff? He sent word for his brother John, who worked a plantation in the Bahamas, to obtain permission to board the ship once we anchor.
Zephaniah became concerned about our welfare and our assets in Florida. He traveled to the northern states to abolitionist rallies and meetings to understand the changes coming when Florida becomes a state, which is just a matter of time. He heard that the island of freedom, Haiti, was a place where perhaps there will be less violence and uncertainty. Zephaniah heard from the Seminoles, friendly with the Spanish and very skeptical of American agreements, that the Indians intend to fight the new Florida territory and stop their removal to the west. Zephaniah decides we must leave for Haiti now. Another Seminole war is likely, and more laws for colored people in Florida will make it dangerous for us all.
Écrit Journal 10, 1801. 6 ans qui ont passé depuis nous arriver Saint-Augustin. Georges demandait quelques fois pour lui bataille pour voir des Espagnes. Il continuait à pousser pour y payer les plus pour tout effort qu'il fait. Chaque commission qu'il fait, il révoque. Il n'a pas qu'à dormir tellement. li vle kite peyi sa. Pendant ce temps, chaque jour ici a vini plus danger. Toujou gen parole indien yo sou la guerre. Ou bien y ap atake. Même moi-même commencé à fatiguer à tout bagay sa yo. Nous réussi recevoir approuvé pour nous, moi-même, à quelques membres de famille à les relocaliser en Cuba devant Georges. Mais Georges, tout d'un coup, vient mourir. 14 juillet 1801. Nous faisons un arrangement pour un gros funéral pour lui. Moi-même, tout ça m'a pensé, c'est nous pas gagner un peu de provision. Et puis nous pas même connaître ça qui a fait en devant. Écrit journal 11. Je dis à moi son veuve. Moi j'ai toujours songé la vie écoute nous te gagné dans Saint-Augustin. À toute famille nous gagne là. Moi pas continuer bataille pour reconnaissance dévotion Georges te fait. Pour paiement pension li. Plus important pour joindre place nous ici dans Cuba.